Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
Where today we are discussing a few ways that you can help to not break the bank when you're making your magical trip to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, then you won't need one of those shirts that say I'm broke or whatever in Disney fonts. Jake's favorite.
Yeah, I'm broke and Waltograph. That's always what it is.
Yeah, that is always what it is.
No, just kidding. It's easy to be swept up in the Disney magic and just kind of willy-nilly spending to make your vacation,
right,
anything you want. But if you're on a tighter budget, there are ways to really kind of help that situation out by making some conscientious decisions.
And even if you're not on a tighter budget, but you just want to make some smart decisions to make yourself feel better about this whole ordeal. You know what I mean? We spend a lot of money at Disney. Just tickets alone are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So when I can make some smart decisions and know that, I'm drinking a free water versus a $6 bottled water, that makes me feel better about the cost of admission.
Yes. Value is magical.
Yeah, value is magical.
Before we dive into our list here that we've curated a few different little hacks for saving some money at the happiest place on earth, we did want to, first of all, say thank you so much for listening. If you are on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify and you enjoy the episode, if you feel like leaving a review, it would help us so much. That really helps the podcast get witnessed by more people, and then we get to keep going for longer. That would be awesome. There's also the visual version of the podcast over on the YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co. It comes out every single week, so if you want to watch our smiling faces talk about ways to save a little bit of money at Walt Disney World, you can find us there.
Yeah. Also, if you are planning a Walt Disney World trip or any other kind of trip, I'm also certified and love booking cruises, Universal trips, any other kind of trip. Please send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com. I am a free-to-you travel agent, and because I get commission from wherever you wind up traveling from, you also get free trip t-shirts from our 5-star Etsy shop that you get just as a thank you from me for letting me help book your trip. You get the same deal as you could find yourself or better, and I do weekly deal monitoring to make sure if a better deal comes along before your trip is scheduled to start, that I can switch you to the better deal. So lots of things you can't get just by booking on your own, free gift, and you're helping out a small business.
Yeah, it's a waste of money buying your whole family trip t-shirts when you can just book your vacation for free, but with your free services, with Morgan as your travel agent, and then bam, you knock a little bit more off of your Walt Disney World vacation.
And you never know, your trip could cost less a month later, and since I check back every week for deals, that's how, without you wasting your time checking all the time, you've got somebody that can make your trip lower to begin with.
How often do you get a notification that says, hey, that thing is actually less expensive than you thought?
They're not going to tell you.
Yeah, right. They don't. That's not their gig.
Right.
Yeah, that is awesome. You'll never go back once you've had that kind of service. All right, let's get into this list. I'm so excited for this. I used to be so broke when visiting Walt Disney World.
Yeah, we started off like really, really paycheck to paycheck.
Packing sandwiches.
I packed wraps so that my wraps, the bread wouldn't get soggy. Did you do sandwiches?
Smart, yes. We would do sandwiches. We would buy like bakery buns so that the bread would like hold up a little bit better.
Okay.
And then we'd bring a cooler with like lunch meat and stuff inside of it.
Yeah.
Different.
Those are the days. Different days.
Different days.
Now we're trying all the restaurants for you guys, so.
Yes, that's true. We've tried a wide range of Disney dining, but we've also definitely had to think conscientiously about budget when eating in the parks before. Even if we were eating in the parks, making sure we were getting the most out of that, and then trying to find other ways to save a little extra money.
Exactly.
Because going to Disney itself, like you were saying, the ticket alone.
Yeah, it's
expensive. A big chunk of money. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Even if you can afford a $5 bottle of water or whatever, want to.
Yeah, that's a great place to start because
Yeah.
drinks are actually one of the things that I think people spend. It's one of those things where it really adds up if you
Drinks
spend the whole time buying, you know,
for
$6.
especially a whole family.
Right.
Yeah, drinks I would say are the number one thing that get just crazy price jumps when you walk into Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like another universe
right.
where Coca-Cola is $7.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah.
But bottled water specifically is my number one because you can get free cups of water at any quick serve in any Disney park.
Yeah.
So there's always a free option, and it's not like they're giving you tap water. They give you a cup and you get it from the soda machine. So it's the water that runs through the soda machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
a little
good.
cup. And, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you take a couple trips to a couple different quick serves or to that same one a couple times so that you can get your, you know, nice fill of water. But I will say, they also have a bunch of those bottled water refilled or water bottle refill stations throughout Walt Disney World now. So if you bring a water bottle into the park, which you can do,
right,
you can fill it up at one of those. I know water taste is a big deal for a lot of people, and some people don't like the taste of water at different places. And Walt Disney World, I'm sure, has its own distinct flavor of water. But if you are someone who wants to refill your water bottle, that's another great way to save money. Or like Morgan was saying, the quick serves all have them at the window. So there's really no reason, if you're, you know, thinking about money at all, to buy a bunch of bottled water at Walt Disney World.
Right. And
it's Dasani, which most people think is the worst one.
Exactly. Everybody complains about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've also read this hack a while back, and I've done this back in the day, back in our bringing wraps and sandwiches to the park day. But you can also bring the little packets of like Crystal Light or Gatorade to flavor the water if you've got it. Yeah, if you've got an issue with the flavoring of water from the soda fountain or from, you're talking about like a water fountain refill, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't tried that. I always get the cups from the quick serve. But yeah, if you want a different flavoring, you could bring those little packets. Also, it's not just cold water that you can get for free. You can also get hot water for free. So if you bring like some tea bags or hot cocoa packets, that's you making your own flavored drink for absolutely free. Well, for the cost of what it costs you to get that at your local grocery store.
Absolutely. And obviously water is a big deal at Florida, especially in Florida, especially if you're not from the state and you're not used to our kind of heat.
Yeah.
Then
you definitely need to be
drinking stay hydrated. It's not an option, but you don't have to buy the $6 water bottle.
I also love the idea, we haven't done this yet, but I love the idea of taking some hot cocoa packets to like the Christmas party or like a Christmas evening when it's nice and cool in Florida and getting some free hot water and making our own hot cocoa instead of spending the, I'm sure, $25 it would take to get us 4 hot cocos.
They don't give out hot milk, huh? No.
Yeah, it would be, you know.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
But the hot cocoa packets are good, I think, in just water. They're fine.
They're not too bad. If you make them with milk, you get spoiled.
Yeah, but a lot of times what you're buying, if you buy a hot cocoa from like a quick serve type restaurant,
it's water anyway.
It's water.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting what I'm telling you to make. Yeah.
Right.
So there's that. Drinks are a big one.
Absolutely. We also have soda on the list, and it's the same.
Yeah.
Same idea there. You can also just bring, as long as I believe the rule is that the bottle cannot be opened, but you can bring bottled drinks into Walt Disney World.
I don't even think that it's that it can't be open.
Really? You can just bring it. Oh, you're right, because I've brought in literally like a fast food type of cup.
We do that all the time. The only thing you'll get is if you go into Animal Kingdom and you've got a straw, they'll make you throw it out if it's not paper.
Right.
But, you know, other than that, you can bring in a drink if you want. It's just going to last. It won't obviously last your whole trip.
When we were trying to save money, we would bring in a bag and we would take turns holding like the food bag. Because, you know, it's something that you have to take with you into the park. And you try to travel light in Walt Disney World, basically, because you're walking around all day and it's hot and whatever. But we would have a bag that we would put drinks in because we were not buying drinks in the park. Very expensive. We would get free cups of water.
Mm-hmm.
But if we wanted drinks like Cokes or something, we would put them in the bag with the food, put the cooler in the bag. It was a little like lunchbox cooler.
Yeah.
I don't think you could even bring like a big cooler into Walt Disney World. But then we just have a bag that had all of our like rations in it, and we would take turns holding it.
Yeah.
Like carrying it around the park, and that was definitely a huge money saver for us because all of that adds up so fast.
Right. Another money saving tip, and this is in general, not just Disney, but of course it applies to Disney too, is not buying sodas at sit down restaurants is just smart in the first place. Mm-hmm. Just like the bottled drinks, sodas are wildly overpriced. Like it costs them maybe 5 or 10 cents to produce a cup of soda for you or a glass of soda, but mm-hmm. they are charging you like $4 and $5. Mm-hmm. I think I've seen us get charged up to like $6 for a soda at a sit-down restaurant, and I'd rather, if you can imagine how often you would not having that would save up and what that money could turn into. You're dehydrated anyway if you're at Disney World. So I would just get water at sit-down restaurants.
Definitely a good way to save money if you're okay with like giving up the,
right,
your routine of drinking whatever you're drinking.
Yeah.
It definitely does add up really fast.
One I did not put on my list as far as drinks goes is coffee. If you're the type of person that needs a Starbucks or something like that in the morning, they are not more expensive at Disney than they are outside of Disney. Mm-hmm. And actually, I found Joffrey's, it's not Joffrey's specifically that I went to yesterday. I went to the little coffee spot right outside of Kona Cafe in the Polynesian Resort.
A true Disney coffee.
Yeah, but they used Joffrey's, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was a Joffrey's location because they didn't give me my pass holder discount. But right outside of the monorail in the Polynesian, they've got a little coffee place. And I got a 16-ounce oat milk latte with coconut because it felt very Polynesian to me to get coconut. And then I asked for extra sweet, and that whole thing cost me $5.79.
Yeah, not bad.
That's less than Starbucks because Starbucks would start charging me for the extra sweet, and Starbucks would have charged me for the oat milk.
Yeah.
And this location did not charge me for those upgrades, so it was $5.79.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
It was
genuine. As far as coffee goes.
That coffee was genuinely the best coffee I've had on Disney property.
Oh, you liked it?
I loved it. I loved if you're a person, I know coconut's a little controversial. Sure. If you don't like coconut, you're not going to like it. My husband doesn't like coconut. He didn't like it. But
I might like it.
Yeah, you might like it. It very much felt like the Polynesian vibes. Like I really felt like
tropical.
Yeah,
that's nice. We also had a coconut coffee at we had a coconut cold brew at Animal Kingdom. Now, Morgan's not
I didn't like it.
Much of a cold brew fan.
I just can't. I don't like cold brew. It's not the coconut.
You don't like the flavor.
I don't like the flavor of cold brew specifically in general.
And that's okay. And we had it, and it had like sweet condensed milk in it, which is very strange.
It was the best cold brew I've ever had.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
But I don't like cold brew, so I wouldn't order it again. But Jake and Bailey loved it.
It made me think that I would like this coconut drink as well.
I want to go back to Polynesian just for this coffee again.
Well, let's go. I want to try it. I also want to go to Kona Cafe again because Morgan's been going and I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
And I like Kona Cafe a lot, so we need to put that in the books officially.
Yeah, we should do that. I always love getting breakfast before a Magic Kingdom day.
Oh, it's the perfect way to start.
I just feel like I can't do it without it anymore.
I know, it's so nice because it's also, you don't dive right into the hustle and bustle and the heat and all of that of Magic Kingdom. You start off in a nice air-conditioned resort.
Relaxed but excited.
Very luxurious.
Yes. Very, very bougie.
Very bougie.
Choosing breakfast as your sit-down restaurant over lunch and dinner is also a budget, like, money-saving tip.
Top tier tip.
Yes. If you're doing, especially if you're like, we need to do a character meal because my kids love characters. Big money saver.
I'll afford it.
Yeah, big money saver to choose breakfast over dinner. And generally, this isn't true across the board, but 8 times out of 10, the character breakfast or the character meals are not like the best food.
Oh yeah, we have found that to be true.
Yeah.
There are exceptions.
There are definitely exceptions.
But as a rule,
Mhm.
it seems to be that they factor in the fact that they've got characters.
So they don't need to worry about the food being that good.
Yeah. It's not a fine dining experience.
Right. So you might as well pay less. Yeah.
And
if I'm going to do Chef Mickey's, I would rather do it for breakfast, so at least I'm paying less.
Yes, and that's where the Mickey waffles are, so you might as well.
The Mickey waffles are everywhere.
Yeah, I meant at breakfast is where you get your like. Mickey
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
I really, I think breakfast is the way to go. Not only is it generally so much cheaper than the other Walt Disney World, it's a great way to start your day. Start your day with the magical breakfast, and then there are good options for lunch and stuff.
There's even good quick serve options.
It can be harder to find a good quick serve breakfast. I found there's only really a couple of them that we
were just talking about how we need to try the breakfast Rancho wrap. We haven't yet, but that's a good, potentially good. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't great, because I keep hearing how great it is.
I used to recommend in Magic Kingdom that Nutella fruit waffle thing. They've changed it, so now you can either get a waffle with fruit on it or a waffle with Nutella on it, but it's not both anymore.
Oh.
So that's another one gone. Yeah, but we do love the cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern. We always recommend that as a good breakfast. And
heavy.
Split it with someone, of course.
Yeah,
we've never eaten one apiece. We always split it.
Yeah, I wonder if you could get that ham and Gruyere pizza.
Breakfast.
Was it not pizza? It was like a tart.
Yeah,
for breakfast. I would love that for breakfast.
That'd be great, savory and sweet.
I don't know how we got. But doing a character meal breakfast is better money wise.
Absolutely. Well, those are also all the things we just named are not expensive. So if you are looking for a cheap quick serve breakfast, those are some options. Yes,
that's true. And if we're ever like, oh, we don't want to really spend the money on a dinner at Disney in general, even not character, I can usually still justify a breakfast, because a lot of times between the three of us, we'll split 2 meals, and that's enough, because breakfasts I'm not used to really eating much anyway.
Yeah.
And we're looking at like $30-$40.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's with ordering like a nice coffee, and you don't have to worry so much if you do a breakfast.
Yeah.
Good tip. Next on here is fans. Now, this is one of those things where maybe you don't realize that you desperately need one ahead of time if you're someone who desperately needs one. And there you are in the park looking at everyone with those fans around your neck.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Or holding them. Yeah.
Let me shell out the...
Or a stroller fan.
$30 or whatever they're charging in the park for it.
Disney will charge you a lot for one that's got Mickey's face on it. You can actually buy one with Mickey's face on it outside of the park for a fraction of the cost.
In a Walmart in Orlando, they have them. In all of those gift shops.
Amazon.
Lots of places to buy.
Maybe even the dollar stores.
Yeah. Even the Walmart here, we live in the Tampa area, even the Walmart here, we're not close to a theme park or anything. They just have them all the time.
Yeah.
That you can buy in the fan aisle. So that's definitely something that you can think about ahead of time and save yourself a nice little chunk of change.
The next little grouping I think that we are going to talk about is all about preparing ahead of your trip. Now, even if you're local, that's preparing ahead of your day trip. You know what I mean? Because it's something like getting a fan ahead of time is being prepared for the heat.
Yes.
Next, I'll say ponchos, or it's something that I would never buy in the park.
Right.
But you can get them at locally to Disney, all of the grocery stores and convenience stores.
And even some gift shops.
And gift shops have them that you can get for a fraction of the price. But
I paid 50 cents last time.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I know you can get them on Amazon. It might be as smart to get them closer to here, because here everywhere has them.
Yeah.
I know not grocery stores in like Tennessee might not have them. You know what I mean? You might have to look a little harder.
And they might have the big old like raincoat type poncho that you can maybe get in like a sporting goods section of like a big box retailer, but just your regular grocery store might not have the cheap disposable.
And that's what you need, because you always want to pack light.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
takes up less real estate, costs less money. If
Right.
you're looking for a budget, it's just smart.
Won't upset you if you have to just get rid of it.
Or if they tear or something, because they're not great. Even
Right.
the Disney ones, they're not great.
No,
They
yeah.
might tear
Right.
on if they get snagged on something.
I just think it needs to be small enough to fold into a small little rectangle.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And
So-
you're going to want it as well, because the rain here, especially in the summer to
Summer.
fall,
Right.
it is not a joke. You
Yeah.
start getting rain every single day in the afternoon.
Absolutely.
Yep. And while you're in the rain, something that happens a lot is that your socks get wet. This is a major
Yes.
problem here in
Even
Florida.
if you're not in the rain, because you could go on Tiana's Bayou Adventure and your socks could get wet.
Oh no! Now you're at the party in wet socks.
Yeah.
Mama Odie, why did you do that to us?
Wet socks are like the worst feeling.
It's really bad. It's also bad for your
It lasts
feet.
forever. I know. I feel like I'm getting a disease or something.
Yeah, it's bad for your skin. It's bad for like all kinds of stuff. Have you ever watched Forrest Gump? And he's always
Yeah.
like, change your socks
Yeah.
right now.
Right.
Yeah, I always think about that because it's so true that it's bad for your feet. It also makes your feet hurt when your socks get wet and you walk around. It makes your...
It's so uncomfortable. Yeah.
not good. But there's a way to fix that, which is by bringing extra socks.
Right. That's another thing. Like if you're going to take a backpack, you've got your, let's say you have a family of 4, you have got your 4 ponchos, 4 pairs of just the small socks, just in case,
Yep.
ankle socks.
Just
Easy.
in case these socks, yeah.
Yeah.
I love...
Maybe put them in a sandwich bag, zipper bag, just to be safe.
I like that. I love the Disney Skyliner. I had no intention of buying Disney Skyliner socks, but we were at the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios and got absolutely torrentially rained upon, my husband and I. And we got so wet that my husband was like, I cannot do this. I'm buying socks right now.
Yeah.
So now we own...
You know how much you spent?
Oh my God, it was probably over $20.
It probably was. You're probably right. Yep.
Yeah, so I think about that every time I look at the socks.
Well, at least
Don't
you
be
still
like
have
me.
them.
Oh, yeah,
I will
and
say
they are really cute.
Yeah, but yeah.
They've got the sky cabins on them, the sky buckets on them.
Yeah.
They are very cute. But yeah, $20 for socks is wild.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of a kind of bad experience, because that reminded me of your face mask experience, which I'm not even going to get into
I
because
forgot.
we don't even have COVID issues anymore, so I don't need to warn people against that. Jake was overcharged for a paper mask at Disney once.
They made me pay for one.
They made for a paper
disposable
BS
one.
disposable. Yeah, it was crazy. Like $3 or something.
Yeah.
Everybody everywhere was giving those out for free during COVID. And
I literally laughed because I thought she was joking.
Yeah.
She was like $2. I was like, ha!
Yeah.
And she was like, no.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. But here's
I forgot all about that.
Here's a related thing that has happened to me twice now, where for whatever reason, we go a lot. So I know I should have learned from my mistake the first time, but we go a lot. My feet would blister, like my ankles, and then would be bleeding. And so the first time we're at Animal Kingdom and I go into the gift shop over by Dinosaur and I was like, hey, do you guys have a Band-Aid? My foot's bleeding. And they sold me like a $5 thing with Band-Aids and ointment and a bunch of stuff.
You are joking.
No. Now, listen, if you can get yourself over to the first aid area, there's a first aid area in every park. They will give you Band-Aids for free.
This was on my list too.
They will give you Tylenol for free.
I was just about to say, it's not even just Band-Aids.
Yeah.
They give you like medicine if you need it.
The issue in this moment, and because I did know this, was that I was in a ton of pain.
Oh.
Now, probably I should have just asked nicely my husband to go over there and get me a free Band-Aid and come back to me, but it was just sometimes you pay for
your ankle.
Yeah, you pay for convenience in that. And I was so like shocked in the moment. It was like your mask situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
you don't just have a Band-Aid for like if a child cuts their finger or something. You don't just.
I don't want a whole medical kit. I want a Band-Aid.
It's crazy.
It happened to me in Epcot too, but we were so far away from where the first aid, because we were in
World Celebration.
Yes, no, all the way in the back. Yeah, like I can't remember specifically what Germany. We were in Germany.
Oh, you were in the World Showcase.
Yes.
Oh, and you needed to come all the way around the world to get to first aid.
Don't you think first aid has to be in the front? I haven't actually visited first aid in Epcot. I guess knock on wood.
It's next to. I think it's in the Odyssey because that's
like, where that is definitely where the baby care center is. So yeah, they're usually right next to each other.
I think that is. Yeah.
That would have been a wild walk with bleeding foot. So I don't think. Anyway, so I was just like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. It's crazy that they've started selling that kit specifically because people must ask for Band-Aids. Yeah. And they're like, oh,
okay, we're not going to give away Band-Aids anymore. But they do. Anyway, if you can make it to the first aid, great. If not, maybe, I mean, you can't know this ahead of time, but you can plan for it ahead of time and take with you a little thing of, a little teeny first aid kit, maybe even. Yep. Band-Aids and some Tylenol or something like that.
Always a good idea. I keep headache medicine. I'm someone who gets migraines sometimes, so I keep Excedrin migraine with me. Band-Aids are always good. I specifically also wear blister guard Band-Aids, which are the ones that you put on the back of your ankle to try to prevent the sock from or your shoe from rubbing up against it. Those are all great ideas to have ahead of time or to know. Look at your park map or the My Disney Experience app to know where the first aid station is. They also have water in there. So if you're feeling dehydrated and you're near first aid, they'll give you water for free.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good tip. So that was very frustrating.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, where were we? You just did extra socks, or I just did Band-Aids. You can go on.
Okay. Sunglasses are definitely something that Disney
wildly overcharges.
Yeah, I won't call it price gouging, but there's a certain level of
price gouging is what I would call the waters and the sodas, though. By the way.
Well, price gouging is legally actionable.
Oh, never mind.
So they might.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I was just being dramatic.
We'll just call it like a Band-Aid, a ripoff. So instead of that, you can buy sunglasses for cheaper ahead of time and not spend. They start at, I believe, $16 or something
at Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or yeah. Well, that's for the really cheap one.
Here's the thing, you guys. Disney has over 200 pairs of sunglasses turned into lost in Disney World. Just Disney World has over 200 pairs of sunglasses turned into lost and found every single day.
I didn't know that factoid.
Yes. So do not take your Ray-Bans. I would not buy $20 Disney sunglasses because the likelihood of losing them is much higher at Disney than it is in your day-to-day life.
It's so true. It's so true.
You have so much going on. You're on rides. You know what I mean?
And you have to constantly take them on and off. Like if you're going on a roller coaster or you're going inside.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that just gets lost in the shuffle.
I was on Wedway yesterday, which you might know as the People Mover. And I was thinking about how often I was taking my sunglasses on and off, because just on that ride, you take your sunglasses off to go in and see the thing. So then you put them back on. Then you take them off to go in and see Space Mountain. And then you put them back on. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is a lot of on and off for my sunglasses.
I bet people leave their sunglasses on that ride a lot.
I'm sure they do. And I have picked up sunglasses for people in my party before that would have left them. Yep. You know what I mean?
You've done that for me before on Spaceship Earth.
Yeah. And I'm sure that we have lost some and we don't even know. Exactly. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's months later and you're like, what
leave your Ray-Bans
to
at
my
home?
Red sunglasses or whatever, and then you think back and you're like, oh, the last time I had them was at Walt.
Right.
That's tough.
Yeah. So that's a good tip.
That is a really good sunglasses.
Bring some extras. The next one that I would like to mention, and this is another planning ahead, just like all the ones we've been doing, is the light up type toys. If you've got really little kids, like toddler age or a little bit older, you could actually get away with buying some, not generic, but Disney toys from like Dollar Tree or something, or Walmart, and kind of packing them and giving to them kind of in lieu of these very, very expensive souvenirs. Specifically, though, if you were going to do this with one thing, I would do it with the light up type stuff. Yeah. Because the carts of light up toys are very, very, very enticing for kids, and they are very, very overpriced. Yeah. So, and it's really a one-time use type situation. anything that's a one-time use, you don't want to buy at Disney because they're charging you more for it. So,
and it is tempting. That Little Mermaid bubble blowing.
Well, that you can't get anywhere else. It's funny because that specific item is the one thing I was like, I would actually buy that if I had a toddler. But I'm very, very in love with that toy because I think the little kids using it everywhere and the bubbles being everywhere are now part of the Disney ambiance that I want in my life.
I wanted one as a kid so bad, but we were not buying that.
Right.
Yeah, that was not a thing. But I can definitely understand, and I think if your kids are young enough to pull the pre-brought light-up toys, that's great. Right. Because, oh my gosh, the price difference is
You can
insane.
get like a light-up wand and stuff like that at cheap places.
Fairy wand, sorcerer wand. You can even get stuff like the Sorcerer Mickey hat and stuff, like Disney merchandise, but at a cheaper price point at things like Walmart.
Exactly.
And like the party section.
I haven't seen the bubble blower. Do they have it at Walmart, you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I bet there's got to be something like that on Amazon.
When Bailey was little, I would even just buy those like snap light like bracelets and stuff to take to stuff
Glow
like this.
Bracelets and stuff.
Because even something like that makes a kid feel like they got something special, like the other kids they're seeing everywhere, without you spending. Seriously, you could spend like $50 on these light up things.
I know, and that's there's some stuff that you can't do that for, like you can't paint your kid's face, really. You know, if that if you're if you're in a situation where all the kids are getting their face painted,
you're gonna splurge to get your kid's face painted. Yeah.
Yes, but stuff like this, maybe you can get away with the switcheroo,
right?
Which is a great tip.
Right. And speaking of the face painting, I have heard that. I haven't done this personally, but with the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, you know, they've got packages and some of them include the dress, but you could actually buy a dress ahead of time and just get the hair and stuff done.
Really?
And it's cheaper. Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, then at least it's a little cheaper. It's still an expensive thing to do. But, but I don't think I could do hair like they do.
No,
so
they're good over there.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it, so I don't really know, but yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing. That's a great tip. Maybe it helps make it a little bit more, you know, doable for someone out there.
Yes, exactly.
That would be great. All right. We're kind of moving into actually, let's talk about this. T-shirts in general is something that can very quickly add up.
Yeah. It's hard. It was hard for me to put this on the list because I am definitely guilty of buying T-shirts, even though I own an actual T-shirt business.
Yes, because T-shirts isn't that interesting? Because T-shirts, I feel like, are a way of communicating your interests, like who you are, to other people. So it's very easy to see one that you really love and really feel
in love with it,
works with your vibe and everything, and you're like, well, I've got to buy it. There's no choice.
Yeah.
You know? And we definitely get that. But if you're going in with the mentality of, okay, this is not going to be that kind of trip. This is going to be, I'm booking with Morgan and getting my free T-shirts through Neverland Navigation.
Yeah.
Although that's a good tip just for anyone in general, because why not get a free T-shirt and have expert travel planning services? But I'm just saying, the T-shirt thing at Walt Disney World can get to be very expensive.
Yeah.
So there are a couple ways kind of around that, and some things that we think are maybe better to avoid from a value standpoint. Morgan specifically put on the list basic T-shirts, especially with the year.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
I can.
Yeah.
So the T-shirt, like a Disney World T-shirt that has the year on it, this totally depends on the kind of person you are. I know there are some people that they want the year on it because they only go once in a lifetime, once every 10 years, and they want the year. They're going to keep wearing it to remember this specific trip that they went on.
Yes.
That's a totally different story. If you go regularly, even once a year or once every few years, I would say I would not get one with a date on it. These are the number one theme park donated apparel are dated Disney or theme park shirts.
2004.
Right, because now it's, 2024 and you've gone 8 times since 2004, so
when you're not going to wear that.
Yeah, are you going to wear that and represent 2004?
Some people do.
maybe.
You do see it in the park now and then. But I agree with you that I now, at this stage of my life, I'm trying to pick out t-shirts that I think are going to last a while, and that I'm going to want to wear
a few years from now at least.
A lot. You know, I don't want to buy a t-shirt that I'm going to wear once or twice, because that to me is not worth, especially not worth.
Yeah, especially at Disney prices. Yeah.
Plus t-shirt the Disney's selling.
Yeah, I feel like I should give an exception to special, like the 50th anniversary that we had a few years ago.
Okay.
That kind of merch, because it's celebrating an event, an anniversary. I still wear my 50th stuff.
I think it's fun to see people wear celebration merchandise from throughout the years.
Yeah,
because the anniversaries all have they have a themed kind of branding to them, which is aesthetically pleasing, but it also is cool to denote as history, you know, 25th anniversary, 50th anniversary, rather than 2008 or whatever.
Exactly.
Which, you know, that's just a number. It's just a number, and it's just got Mickey, and it could be from any year.
Right.
You know?
And then, speaking of that, the other aspect of it that you mentioned is basic t-shirts. And that's what I mean. Like, if you're getting one that just has Mickey on it, you could get that cheaper somewhere else.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be a Disney specific shirt. You could get that. I'm not even talking about from places that are doing it that don't have the rights to do it. There are a lot of places that have the rights to do it, like Walmart
Disney.
and Target and stuff like that. Yeah, they're allowed to sell them, and they're selling them for half the price.
Right.
So
that's always.
I have gotten some great Disney licensed t-shirts from Target. Me
too. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff out there. I know Box Lunch is super popular for Disney merchandise nowadays. Maybe you find some styles and stuff that you wouldn't normally find in a store like Walmart. But even Walmart or some bigger box stores like Sam's Club and Costco, they sell like official Disney branded like hoodies, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff nowadays. So really a lot of places you shop might have some Disney merch, and if you are going with a family, it might be fun to know their favorite characters, find cheap t-shirts ahead of time, and then surprise them with the t-shirt on the trip.
Yeah.
As another way to like circumvent having to buy one. Right. With like a surprise. The same idea as the glow stick thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Great one.
Yeah, t-shirts for sure. Okay.
Okay, do you want me to just pick another one?
Sure.
Okay, so this one, and this is everything, of course, is subjective. But I will say that we think the balloons are a little overpriced for the inconvenience of buying them anyway.
You guys are with us on this, right? The balloon is a classic part of the Disney experience. Yeah. It has gotten crazy.
Yeah, right.
Don't you think?
Yes. I love when you're on that part of Muppets 3D where at the end the fire truck comes through the wall. Spoiler alert. And you guys have all been on Muppets 3D, right? It's not new.
Right.
And you see the balloons in the background, and it's like 1990 balloons or even 80s. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I bet those were like $3. Okay, so balloons now are closer to $20 a pop. And the issue is that
Speaking of pop,
the issue is that they don't last long.
Yeah.
You aren't allowed to take them on rides.
Yeah.
If you leave them on your stroller or whatever, if you don't have a stroller, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Tie them to something.
Yeah, if you do have a stroller, then good luck. You know, they might be there when you get back. They might not.
Yeah, it's a tough proposition for $20. Almost $20.
Even if you get it at the end of your trip, you can't take it on a plane. It's kind of a pain in the butt in a car.
Some people flatten them.
Yeah, I did. I flattened the one I've gotten as an adult that I got for a birthday gift from Jake. Years ago. Yeah, like way back when we first met.
Yeah. So many years ago, if you think about it. Okay.
Yeah. It was a cute thing. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of subjective because I did love that. I know we took pictures with it.
Mm.
It was fun. We did have issues trying to get on rides after that, but like
we didn't think about that at all.
No, you don't think about that. That's why we're here telling you.
Yeah, we didn't have this podcast to listen to.
I wouldn't be mentioning it right now if we hadn't had that experience, probably.
Yeah.
Or at least I would have known about the ride situation because we're like going back to get on a ride and they're like, you can't take that on this.
And we're like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah.
Someone, I believe.
Are we child swapping our balloon?
Balloon child swap.
I don't remember what we did.
I believe they held it for us, which was very nice of them. But I don't know if that's a thing that they always do.
Yeah.
Or if they were just doing it because we were like, what? I think they could tell we were confused.
We were confused.
Yeah.
So I wound up letting the air out of it and flattening it, and I still have it in a memory box. So, I mean, at least there's that. If you do it, then I guess that would be the way to go so that you didn't buy something that you had for a few hours and then annoyingly had to get rid of while your kids are crying and stuff like that. I'm just saying, under normal circumstances, this is a bit of a waste of money.
No, yes. Flattening it definitely, flattening it and keeping it, in my opinion, helps a little bit, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah. Still probably not something we'd spend money on next time.
Yeah. Generally, when I was young and going and not spending money on that kind of thing, I always would take, like, the park maps and stuff. Like pins and stuff. Those were souvenirs.
Right. Birthday pins are free. So that's a good sub.
Yeah. So spending $20 on a balloon seems, to me, it seems wild.
Yeah.
I doubt I'll ever do it again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We do have other things. Now, we've got on here some interesting ways to save money, like, well, this is really part of the whole food and beverage thing, buying potato chips.
I just saw it. This should have been up there with the food and beverage thing.
Well, that's all right. This
is a very specific example because I knew this podcast was coming, and I was in Magic Kingdom yesterday and saw that a teeny bag of chips, like Lay's potato chips, cost $3.29, and my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, 10 potato chips for $3.29.
That is
a lot, right?
Especially when you could buy basically a whole bag of chips for
a family size bag.
Yeah.
I mean, on sale maybe.
On sale too. Buy one, get one free for sure.
Yeah.
But the chips, honestly, Ziploc bag.
If I would take my $3 and go get something that's Disney specific. Why are you buying $3 chips? That's silly.
One time we were at Gaston's Tavern and we bought that ham and Gruyere.
Yeah, it comes with a bag of
tart, and it came with a bag of chips. And we thought, first of all, why?
What? Yeah, that's them making it into a meal. That might be so they can justify it as actually like a lunch on the dining plan.
Oh, I bet that is what it is. Ooh, that's spooky.
Don't love that.
Yeah, I would not spend a lunch credit on that at all. That being said, $3.29 is a lot for the tiny little smallest size bag of Lay's potato chips. So yeah, that's Ziploc bags for snacks, veggie straws, chips, crackers, whatever you need.
Yeah,
that will help you with that right away.
Yeah. Okay, we have a couple more. What would you like me to go into?
Should we start talking about? Well, let's talk about this buffet situation, since we're speaking of food. I think in general,
we touched on this earlier, but yeah,
just restaurants in general, there's a way to be smart about the way that you eat at Walt Disney World to try to a lot of people have an assumption about Walt Disney World that all of the food is very expensive.
Right.
And it's very easy to see how that could come into play because there are a lot of expensive meals at Walt Disney World. Even character, if you've just been to a character meal.
If you see that they're charging $6 for a bottle of soda, you're going to think, oh, everything here is like 5 times more expensive than what I normally pay.
Yes.
But that's actually not true.
Right. And then you also get into sometimes the less expensive side of that, like quick serve, can be very mediocre quality for a high price.
Right.
So a lot of people don't understand that you can actually eat somewhat affordably at Walt Disney World without spending that crazy price tag. You just really have to know where to go.
Right.
That's the key.
So, like, listening to, like, our episodes that we've done on dining is important, but also just looking at menus, not having the assumption that everything is... Disney has so many dining options, so having the assumption that everything is wildly overpriced or that everything is crappy theme park food, those are both wrong.
But very common.
Yes, but very, very common assumptions. So I definitely want to set that straight.
Yes.
But there are some, and we do think it is a waste of money to spend your money on some of the overpriced bad buffets.
Yes, that is a huge expense that you might not necessarily end up feeling is worth it depending on which one you pick.
And like I said earlier, if your kids have to see Winnie the Pooh in a restaurant setting, choose breakfast over dinner at Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace was one of those ones that I walked away from like, oh my God, I need my money back. That was such a waste of money. You know what I mean?
The worst feeling of them all.
Yeah, I felt this way at Chef Mickey's as well.
Yes.
Do you have any other specific examples?
For like dinner or for buffets in general?
Yeah, whichever. I mean, I felt this way about Coral Reef too, but that was just because it was bad, not because it was a buffet.
I will be honest, despite the fact that I thought the food at Garden Grill was just okay, the bill did make me did give me a little bit of a sinking feeling. Because that is very expensive. That's now that's not a true buffet.
It's
that's family style, but it is a character situation, so it's kind of a similar thing. A lot of the character meals are really expensive.
Like $65 a person.
Akershus.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, however you say that. In Norway. We've done so many Norway episodes, we still don't know. That restaurant is all of those, Cinderella Royal Table, any of those character dining situations, they just are expensive.
They're just very expensive. And some of them have good food and some of them don't. So definitely if you're going to splurge, do your research or go back and listen to our podcast episodes that were specifically about this kind of stuff. Because some of them, at least the food is also good.
Yes.
But some of them, it's not. And it's rough and it'll give you leave you with a bad taste in your mouth, pun intended.
Do you have any buffets that you, off the top of your head, that you might recommend to people?
Buffet specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. Oof.
Honestly, I will say this. I find a good buffet is hard to come by at Walt Disney World. However, Boma is a good one.
Boma breakfast is exactly what I was just about to say.
It's outside of the park, and there's no way to connect. Like, you have to drive.
Right.
There's no transportation from Animal Kingdom Lodge, where Boma is located, to Animal Kingdom.
Right.
So a lot of people
bus.
Other than the bus. No, people just don't think about it at all. They don't even consider it. But that is a great buffet. And
we haven't been yet since the change, but before the change, so I don't know what to expect right now.
Oh no.
1900 Park Fair was one that I thought was worth it.
Yes. That one has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
The menu and the characters have changed.
Yeah, and there are some family style, very expensive meals that I have thought the food was good and the characters were good and the ambiance was good, so I would call them worth it. Such as this whole Snow White
storybook dining at Artist Point.
With Snow White. All that. Yeah, that one I felt like was worth it when we have gone.
I know that one is that's probably
Cinderella's Royal Table breakfast is still one of my favorites. And then, of course, Topolino's breakfast.
Can't forget Topolino.
Yeah, so those were worth it because the ambiance was great, the characters were great, the food was great, even though it was insanely expensive.
Yes. If you're looking to spend a little
if you're going to splurge, these are probably the options that I would go with. If you are not wanting to spend that much money, but you're still wanting to do some sit-downs, there are some options that are comparable to outside the park. This is what I'm saying. I looked up, Mama Melrose is one of our favorite Italian... might be our favorite Italian in-park dining.
Yes.
And a lot of times we'll be able to split a few things. We'll go with a party of 4 and maybe split 3 things or 2 things and 2 appetizers, which also helps with money. But just to give you an example, Olive Garden's chicken parmesan is $20.49, and Mama Melrose is $28.
Mm-hmm.
So the price difference is not ginormous. And if you're a pass holder, you get a 10% discount.
Yes, and Mama
Sometimes
Melrose,
20%.
yeah, that 20% discount is really nice. And I will say at Mama Melrose, the portion also, in my opinion, helps to justify the price tag a little bit because they do give you a lot of food for that $28.
Well, and the ambiance.
And the ambiance is great.
And you're in Hollywood Studios. So I feel like they could charge probably $35 or $40.
$34.
Yes, but they're not. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mama.
Even the quick serve options that we don't really recommend, like Cosmic Ray's cheeseburger, that's a specialty cheeseburger that comes with fries, is like $13.49 when I checked earlier today on the website. And we tried Fat Burger not that long ago, and it costs more than that.
What is that?
Fat Burger? It's kind of like Five Guys, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it's not quite McDonald's, but it's a quick serve. It's a quick serve non-Disney restaurant.
Fast casual.
Yes. So a quick serve non-Disney restaurant costs more than a quick serve Disney restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And the Fat Burger didn't come with fries. I had to pay extra.
Oh, yeah. We do come across that kind of thing. Like, even at Pandora, we found the Satuli Canteen protein bowls. Not that different in price from, like, a Chipotle bowl.
Not that different in price, if even different in price.
Exactly. We do find that.
Right. Often. And Five Guys is another one that probably costs more than going to Starlight Cafe.
I know. I've seen memes on the internet where they're like, oh, my 2 hamburgers and French fries from Five Guys and $45.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean.
That's crazy, yeah. There are lots of places that are not fast food, but just a tier above that, and more expensive than Walt Disney World. That is definitely a point well taken. Yeah.
So you really have to look at different menus and compare instead of just giving a blanket thought like everything, all the food is.
We need to pack all our food.
Yeah, you just need to do a little bit of research.
Yeah, you might be able to afford more than you realize if you delve into menus on the My Disney Experience app.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, sometimes we will go to a restaurant and split a few things and not get like super full, but that's okay, and then get a snack after we leave the park.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like a late night stop at like IHOP or something after the park.
Wendy's, we'll do something like that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And we never do that like right by the park because oh my gosh, does it get super busy at nighttime? But you know.
Well, we have done it right by the park, but
IHOP, yeah,
we've tried a few IHOPs in that area. They're interesting. Those are interesting experiences. I'm not going to recommend that to non-locals.
What's wrong? It's not your travel agent advice to hit up Orlo Bronson Memorial.
Nope, it's not. It's not.
Next to the abandoned Days Inn.
Right, exactly. Next to the drug house.
All the sites of Orlando.
Yeah. I will help you, if you are on a budget, I will help you find budget meals within Disney.
We can do better than that. We can do better than that.
Yeah, there are McDonald's on property.
Yep, that's true.
If you really, really want to. And they're not more expensive. They still take the coupons and stuff like that. They're on the app.
Oh, coupons.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way to go if you've got chains. Also, the Starbucks locations in Walt Disney World, they abide by free birthday drinks and all that kind of stuff. So that's another way to maybe save a little.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a good way. I've gotten a free birthday drink at Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay.
In Disney Springs. So that if it's your birthday, cash in on that. All right, we've got on here as well now parking.
Okay, so this is complicated.
Parking in general, I have found parking to be the source of so much financial anxiety when it comes to Orlando.
Right.
Parking at Universal Studios is
$32. Yeah.
Crazy.
$32. We have been considering doing Universal and like doing some comparisons for you guys, and then we have to factor in $32 every time we go.
Every time.
There's no hack.
No.
But with Disney, there's a hack.
Yes.
Well, first of all, if you're a local, you're probably a pass holder, and pass holders park for free. So there's that.
Yes.
If you're a non-local, please consider when booking your trip that if you stay on property, you get free parking.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, an all-star movies stay is on property and gets you free parking. You need to take that into consideration when you're comparing it to, let's say, a Marriott or whatever, DoubleTree,
yes,
which might cost less on paper, but then they're going to charge you for parking to stay at their hotel.
Yeah.
They're going to charge you a per night parking spot. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have to pay to park at the park.
Sometimes if you're not staying at a Disney hotel, but you're staying in Walt Disney World at a non-Disney hotel, and I know you're like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about like the Buena Vista, or I'm talking about the oh boy, what is the name of that? Something Creek, Bonnet Creek
locations,
Bonnet
so the
Creek
Swan and Dolphin,
and the whole area called the Disney Springs Hotel area. Right. That's all non-Disney hotels,
but it's on property. Yeah,
they're on property.
It's complicated.
They offer some Disney perks. A lot of them charge a parking fee.
Oh my god, a crazy parking
Hilton,
fee.
They charge a parking fee.
Yeah, I stayed at the Swan Reserve to make a room review for you guys. It's on YouTube.
Yes.
And we paid, I want to say, $35 per night for parking.
I think that's what we paid at the Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool.
I mean, and then if you're not taking buses everywhere, then you've got to park. You've got to pay to park on it. It's just a lot.
Yes.
It really adds up.
Good to know.
Yes. So your ticket, like on paper, this All-Star costs this, Hilton costs this. You need to think about things like parking.
Right.
So in addition to those things, there is a hack anyway. And that is, if you park at Disney Springs, you park for free and you can take a bus from Disney Springs to anywhere.
Yeah.
So
and
you
the only
can
thing this costs you is time.
Yeah. And for Magic Kingdom specifically, we're talking about going and doing a run and timing it. But since the bus would take you to Magic Kingdom, not Ticket and Transportation Center, it might be the same amount of time.
You could think of it as VIP exclusive transportation directly to the front of the Magic Kingdom Park.
Yeah, maybe.
If you if you can bring yourself there.
Hey, if you can have that kind of positive energy, more power to you.
I would much rather park at Disney Springs, just for my personal preferences.
Also, yeah, you're shaded.
I would rather park in a shaded parking garage in Disney Springs and then be taken right to the front of Magic Kingdom than fight through the experience that is the Ticket and Transportation Center.
We haven't done this lately, so I guess there's the smallest chance that I'm wrong and it doesn't take you directly to Magic Kingdom, but I can't imagine because all the buses go directly to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I don't know why they take you to Ticket and Transportation.
I have done this once in my life. To the Magic Kingdom, and I do think it took me right to the front of the park.
I think so too. I'm like 98% sure. It's been a long time.
So yeah, that's a good caveat. But it is an option. Even if it takes you to Ticket and Transportation, it is still free.
Right, exactly.
So if your primary concern is money.
Right. And so you can take a bus to any of the parks.
Great.
Or you can take a bus to any of the hotels if you want to eat at one of those. You know what I mean? Although you could just park at the hotel if you've got a reservation.
That is true.
Only if you have a reservation, though. You cannot park at the hotel and then just walk to wherever.
Yeah,
they have really cracked down on that.
You have to be on the list.
Yeah.
Get on the list. And this is another way that, in my opinion, the Disney parking experience is superior to the Universal parking experience, just because City Walk, access to City Walk, you still have to pay to park.
You sure do.
Disney Springs, free shopping mall parking.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Disney, for that.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. And multiple parking garages.
People talk about how expensive Disney is, but Universal, and I'm not saying anything bad about Universal, but just like to show the difference. Like if you're hearing people say, oh, Universal's cheaper, well, the ticket's cheaper, but then where they nickel and dime you is a little bit more. Like the cost for the multi-pass is significantly less than the fast pass system that they have at Universal.
Oh yeah, if you're buying Express, you are about to shell out some money.
You really are.
Now they include it with their resort stays, so that's a little bit different than Walt Disney World.
So it's
complicated.
Like it's really not fair to compare. Or it is, but you've got to look at so many different things.
We'll do a full one time once we've visited Universal again to really be at the top of our game with knowledge. we should do a full spectacular Universal versus Disney.
Be really nitpicky and
Let's
crazy.
do some ins and outs. Let's get intricate. I would love to spend a full detailed podcast episode discussion just talking about our different experiences, because they are pretty different. There's a lot that goes into the difference between your day at each, so that'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. We'll definitely get there. We've got one more thing on the list, and it's kind of almost silly, but this is just my travel agent brain kicking in. So, for example, right, if you book an all-star, this is just an example, all-star movies room,
I love it.
You contacted me, you said, I want to stay at all-star movies. You've got the option between what's called a standard room and a preferred room.
Mm-hmm.
The rooms are identical, okay? The difference is the preferred room is closer to the pools and closer to like the dining area, check-in area, buses area.
Yeah.
The difference, like I just checked a random day in February. The difference is like $27 per night.
Okay.
It's like an extra 5 minutes of walking at most to get from a room that's a little bit further. So to me, $27 per night, which on your week-long trip adds up to close to $200. I would probably take that money and go do Topolino's breakfast. You know what I mean? And spend that extra 5 minutes a day walking to burn off said Topolino's breakfast or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's all worth it for those orange, what were those? Sour cream waffles.
Oh my God, those are so good.
It's all worth it.
With the orange maple syrup. So good.
Those 5 minutes are going to feel like nothing when you're at the top of the Riviera.
Those waffles are so good. I keep thinking about them randomly. And I was just thinking while driving the other day, so of course I can't be on my phone. I was like, I need to like look on Pinterest and see if anybody's made a copycat recipe that I could try. I hope some culinary genius out there is helping me out.
That would be great. Let me know when you make them.
I will. I will.
Try.
Yeah.
We need to. Oh my gosh, your birthday's coming. We've got birthdays coming up soon. I'm like, how do we get back to Topolino?
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, for me personally, I would choose a standard room over a preferred room to save a little bit of money.
Being careful about your room selection is a really good tip.
Yeah.
Because just like dining, I think a lot of people look at the Disney World hotel prices and think, oh my gosh, they're so expensive.
Exactly.
There's no way I'm going to be able to stay.
Yes.
Maybe you can.
Yes. Look, for example, this is a non-preferred room at All-Star Movies, which is a beautiful hotel.
Yes.
It's fun. The rooms are recently renovated. They're hardwood. It's got a queen bed plus a Murphy bed that's also a queen bed. So that's bigger than a lot of the...
Very convenient. Yeah. Hotels
a lot of the chains that are outside. Super convenient. You've got the bus system. You've got these like really themed pools. $191 a night. That's with free parking.
And is this a luxury hotel? Of course not.
No,
but that's not what
I'm not comparing All-Star to like, the Four Seasons, but compared to even like,
should you be.
Right, compared to like the Marriott Spring Hill Suites, for example, which is a hotel chain I use often outside of Disney World. I think they are comparable for convenience. I would say the All-Star wins.
Yeah.
So...
But not price-wise, only for direct transportation.
Yes, well,
that's wonderful.
Even if your place has a shuttle, are they offering you free parking? I guarantee you they're not.
You're paying for that shuttle. Whether you know it or not, that shuttle is not free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always think that when people are like, oh, I'm going to stay off property to save money. And I'm like, are you saving money? You might not be.
Maybe not.
Maybe. If you're staying in like,
comfort.
I was going to say a Roach Motel to be, I know that's me being kind of bougie, sorry. But
no, that's
like,
okay.
They cost you like $85 a night. Okay, you might be saving money, but you might be getting a terrible
cost.
Yeah.
I've done that in Orlando, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
Much rather save the All-Star. You have a guarantee of cleanliness.
Yes.
Which is...
And Disney customer service. So if you walk in your room and you see a bug or something like that, they're going to care. They're going to move you. They're going to feel terrible about it.
Right.
Not so much at the Super 8 or whatever. I don't even know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that is what it is. And that is like if you're going for
and your experience
vacation,
that you told me about sounded horrific.
It was. If you're going on vacation, let me tell you right now, you don't need the kind of stress of staying somewhere that is inconsistent about the quality of room that they offer their guests. You want to feel taken care of.
Right.
And even at an all-star resort, Disney does offer that.
Yes, yes.
And there's no true, even if you're saving money, I cannot overstate the value of, like, reliable housekeeping, reliable
cleanliness, getting a good night's sleep because it's not super loud. You know what I mean?
An air conditioner that works, not stains all over everything.
Right.
You're going to feel better.
If you're a person that thinks, oh, well, all I'm doing is sleeping, so what do I care? Mm-hmm. Well, you're wrong, because you're not sleeping if your room's like got bugs in it, or if the walls are so incredibly thin that you could hear all of the things going on everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to be able to sleep.
And sleep is like, honestly, your sleep is the key to a happy Walt Disney World vacation.
Right.
The heat is intense. You're usually traveling with your family, so you've got a lot of sleep to be concerned about. Everyone has to be kind of well rested for you to have a good day.
Yeah.
You know, so this is really not something you can afford to think about. That's my tip of advice, is that even the cheapest Walt Disney World resort, at least you get that baseline, you know, deliverable quality of, you know, your stay, which I think is valuable and worth it, especially if you're talking about, like you're talking about, $191 for a non-preferred room, right? Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
So it's such a good point. This kind of became the theme halfway through, is like meals and hotels. They don't blanket statement everything in Disney is expensive. It doesn't have to be.
Yes. Maybe you can afford to have that magical in bubble.
You might be surprised if you really like open your eyes and think about it and do some comparisons.
And if you, like you were saying about like walking those 5 extra feet every day to afford the Topolinos.
Yeah, 5 extra minutes. No.
Oh, sorry, what did I say? 5 extra minutes, yes. If you bring along the things like the light up stuff and the t-shirts and stuff, then maybe you can afford to stay at a hotel with some of those, you know, savings, and knowing that you're not paying for parking. There's advantages that come along with it, and also the quality is really important. Mm-hmm. All of that, I think, adds up to less vacation stress about the budget, and that's what we're trying to do here, really.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
We hope you found a couple of these tips that we've provided to be helpful for planning. If you want thorough planning advice, we are lucky to have a resident travel agent right here on the show, Morgan Jones, who'd be very happy to help you book not only a Disney vacation, but a trip anywhere that you're taking a trip, with t-shirts for your trip included, and a price watch for if you've got like a room or tickets that end up going down in cost. You get price alerts. That's awesome.
Yeah, just email me at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com so we can talk about your next trip. If you've already booked, but it's within the last 30 days and you haven't paid in full, I can also transfer your vacation to having a travel agent.
It's not too late.
Yeah, it's not too late. And then you still get your free trip t-shirts. If you refer somebody to me, you get a t-shirt as well as they get free trip t-shirts. Mm-hmm. So just send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We are also on social media.
Ooh, yes. We're on Instagram and TikTok at Neverland Navco. You can find all kinds of fun stuff. All kinds of fun stuff. There's dining, shopping, theme park news, reporting from inside of the theme parks.
History.
Mystery.
Yeah.
It's all there.
It's mystery. That's a good point.
The Neverland Navigation social media, we would love to see you over there as well. And until our next trip, where we're cutting some corners and saving some money, we'll see you
on our next adventure.
Goodbye.